I'm Brianna Marini.
And I'm Kristen Demeline.
This is a story about what happens when high school exes reunite, or how life doesn't turn out exactly how you might expect. The artist formerly known as. It was a week after the high school reunion. The old crowd that Charlie had once hung out with, his lacrosse buddies and peers who he had tutored in chemistry, had all been surprised at his journey, from chief of staff for a senator from New York to a Starbucks barista. Olivia was successful. She'd been his first high school girlfriend who had asked him to come to this art show with her, as she was an art dealer. Tonight's exhibition featured work by Jen Swift. Looking up, Charlie paused, shaken out of his thoughts. He hadn't expected to see his ex-girlfriend Genevieve Scott standing across the room. She couldn't be the artist that Olivia had to check out. But Olivia was walking straight towards her, with Charlie in tow. The world couldn't be that small. The artist formerly known as Jen Scott, Olivia Hawthorne, it is so lovely to see you again, Olivia said, kissing Jen on each cheek.
Thank God, I'm just drowning in hipsters here. Jen smiled back at Olivia, then suddenly hiccuped.
You too? Champagne just gets me at these things. Here, Charlie can fill you in on where he's been while you sip some water. Olivia grabbed a bottle from a passing waiter and handed it to Jen. Charlie gave Olivia the same polite while exasperated glance he'd used to such effect 20 years prior. Things have been, different. Olivia's life is far more interesting.
Different how? Jen asked. Olivia shifted her glance back to Charlie, who seemed a bit pained.
However you want it to be. Where were you at last week's reunion? Still too cool for such things, Charlie smiled somewhat warmly and gave her the full Cassidy eye twinkle. Was Charlie flirting with Jen? Olivia hooked her right arm back through his, turning to the side as she casually sipped her drink.
Try busy prepping for this show, Jen said. These pictures do take work, you know. Olivia looked at Jen, focused, and repossessed herself.
So I'm actually here on business. I don't know if you know my firm, but Jackson Lee has some clients just dying to bring home a Jen Swift. Do I work with you or an agent?
Oh, you see Phillips for that, Jen said.
Olivia still remembered vividly when Charlie had blown off a day in Newport with her to go and see Jen's art show instead. They'd broken up over this, in fact. Well, over many things she'd let slide in the interest of maintaining her sanity and the peace. Well, Jen, I certainly will stop and see Phillips. I know so many people are dying to see you, so we'll just move along, okay? Olivia smiled.
Enjoy your date, Jen said. So nice to see you two together again.
Oh, we're not together, Charlie said. Just ran into each other a few weeks ago, actually. Olivia asked me to come along with her tonight.
Jen yawned and shivered as she handed money to the cab driver and slammed the car door shut behind her. The BQE rumbled a few blocks away with late-night traffic, and a nearby karaoke bar spilled someone's ironic rendition of Kelly Clarkson into the night. She entered her apartment and shuffled over to the box of yearbooks and photo albums sitting unpacked next to an end table. Cracking it open, she picked up the book labeled 1989, alternatively smiling and wincing mainly at her hair. Sipping some water, she mused. Had Charlie finally grown up? What had happened to him? Had Olivia actually grown a personality? He'd said they weren't a couple during that 2-minute conversation. Together again tonight, it seemed that nothing had changed. Or maybe everything had.